one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2 3. 1 2 3.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these 2 words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
That's another root of human struggle, worrying about other people's perceptions about who you are. Like, why would you ever care about that, you know? And I think that I fell victim to that in my past, of worrying about things that I can't control. You know, if the people understood what words could do to a human being, especially where we are in today's society, then they wouldn't be invested in that.
Yo, welcome back. Yo, my when I hit that yo just now, I don't know what was in my throat. Pause. Super pause. I don't know what. Hold up, man. Hold up. Let me take a sip of this apple juice, bro. I don't know why I be starting like this, but it's like I be having mucus in my throat. Again, super pause. Listen, we got a lot to talk about today. What a show we plan on having today, you know? We got to talk about Aaron Donald, the GOAT. Old heads not going to like that. Old heads are not going to like that. But what I wish old heads would understand is this. Every time an old head say something like, you know, you think he the best because that's who you watch, yada, yada, yada. Bro, you literally only feel like the people who you think are the best because that's who you watched. So much like you say I'm affected, or the young generation or younger people are affected by what they see right now, so were you. The only athlete who, to me, has been like people from every generation consider said person the greatest is Jordan. Like, I done seen people from multiple generations and walks of life say Jordan is the GOAT. That's the one thing most people agree on. Like, I don't see too many people who like go outside. Like, okay, so one thing, I didn't know people consider Babe Ruth the GOAT in baseball. I didn't know people thought he was the GOAT. Like, it's people out there who think Babe Ruth the GOAT. I did not know that. Like, that's not the person who I done heard like throughout my walks of life as being the GOAT. So it's very interesting when you think about like the few athletes that people from different walks, like different generations of life. You got 20-year-olds, 25, 18, 16, 30, 40, 50. They all consider, a lot of people from those age ranges think Jordan is the GOAT. I just don't think you get that with too many other athletes, bro. But nonetheless, old heads be saying shit like, you know, you had, if you could have seen this person and that person, bro, I understand that you got to watch both. But one of the things that really bothers me with the old head sometimes is not realizing how competition done got tougher in today's game. You might think the game done got softer, which I don't agree with that either. But it's this thing that old heads think that their generation was the best. And I get it. You grew up in that generation. It was a part of your childhood. It's nostalgic for you. So I understand when old heads say that. However, I just don't agree with certain things when it comes to old heads or older people saying they had the better generation, or I don't even care about who you think had the better generation. It's about when you say the tougher generation and what they had to go against and stuff like that. Like I done heard people say they think the greatest defensive players all time is like Lawrence Taylor or Reggie White, dudes who I never saw growing up. So there's no way I could possibly say those dudes is the greatest of all time, because I never watched them. Now, most people give Deion Sanders the greatest cornerback all time. And I didn't watch him either. But most people, he kind of like Jordan in a sense. Like most people I know, regardless of their age, will tell you the greatest corner all time is Deion Sanders. So I rocks with that. Even though the greatest corner I've seen with my own two eyes is not Deion Sanders, I give him that type of respect. I didn't watch Jordan, and I consider him the GOAT, even though my GOAT is Kobe. If you ask me, like, taking away my bias for Kobe, who would I consider the GOAT? I'd probably say Jordan. And if I don't say Jordan, I'm definitely going to say Kobe. I'm not going to say LeBron. I just want y'all to know that. But nonetheless, when I think about those greats that the old heads and the older folks done watch who they consider the GOATs, I'm not trying to step on they GOATs, bro. I'm not trying to disrespect who they feel like is the GOAT, but I didn't watch those guys. Okay. So when I talk about my football GOATs, when I don't involve Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor or, it's another dude I'm missing. You got Mean Joe Green. It's another dude who I am really missing his name right now. It was Reggie White. Who was the dude for the Giants, man? Somebody know who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name at the moment. If I remember it throughout the show, I'll say it again. But if I don't mention any of those old school defensive players, it's because I didn't watch them. And I'm not taking nothing away from their greatness, but I didn't watch them. And even when I go back and watch their highlights, it don't do it justice for the players that I did get to watch. And I feel like, yeah, I just can't put them over certain dudes that I watched. Like, before Aaron Donald, I thought the greatest defensive players that I had ever seen in my lifetime was Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. Patrick Willis, Luke Kuechly. You know what I'm saying? I thought those was the dude. Darrell Revis, Richard Sherman. Like, those are some of the guys who, Troy Polamalu. I'm not going to lie. I don't really put Troy in that. You could call me a hater, and it could very well be true. I just don't look at Troy Polamalu the way everybody else look at Troy Polamalu. And I think the reason I don't look at him the way everybody else look at him is not because of my hate for the Steelers or because I'm a Raven fan. I really think it's because I watched Ed Reed. And to me, Troy Polamalu is not anywhere near. I don't think Troy Polamalu is anywhere near as good as Ed Reed. Prime for prime, I don't think Troy Polamalu touching Ed Reed. And I think that's done something to my psyche, because I see so many Steeler fans try to say that he better than Ed Reed. But if you took fandom out and you just got to pick one of them after knowing what you know, if you took Troy Polamalu over Ed Reed, that'd be insane to me. Like, some people be like, you really can't lose, bro. It's a great choice either way. No, you can lose with this choice because Ed Reed is so far and away the better player. Like, so as great as Troy Polamalu is, I think that's really what. Now, Troy Polamalu fucked us up, bro. I still remember him making some insane plays. So Troy is definitely one of them dudes. It's just, it's hard for me to ever acknowledge him at times because I be remembering Ed Reed, and I don't know why they so closely linked together for me. It's because they played at the same time, and we played against them so much. I think that's what it is. Nonetheless, though, those is like the greats that I got to watch, like J.J. Watt in his prime, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack, I'm not putting him. Matter of fact, let me just stop naming dudes, because I'm gonna end up naming dudes who I don't believe is actually up there. Because Khalil Mack is not in that realm of the dudes who I was just naming, but he had a great stretch. But obviously, he not some of the dudes who I just named. But I'm not trying to disrespect none of those dudes, those throwback guys. I just did not watch them. So when I tell you that the greatest defensive player I've ever seen with my own two eyes is Aaron Donald, I don't want old heads to get offended, because I didn't watch the players who you consider to be the greatest of all time. I watched Aaron Donald. So, not to mention a lot of the dudes who y'all consider the greatest, the old heads do. I'm putting Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and dudes like that over them because, again, I did not watch them. I watched those dudes, though. So, it just is what it is on that. But I actually don't want to start with Aaron Donald. I just wanted to get that message out there. I actually want to start with something else that came across my phone today. Yo, I saw a report yesterday. I'm about to hop to another story real quick, too. I just saw somebody like they trying to sue Apple or something like that because they feel like they got too big a share in the market or something like that, too much control. I was reading it, bro. I'm not giving you word for word. I'm not properly telling you why they're suing Apple. I don't even think they suing Apple. I should have reread this story before I brought it to you, but it's here now. Something about like Apple don't make it so that people can really transition to different phones and whatnot. Bro, I was listening to them read it, and I agree with everything they said. I'm probably going to still keep my Apple phone. Even though I'm not an upgrader of Apple phones. I got an iPhone, but I do not upgrade my shit until I have to. So I don't have the newest iPhone. I don't have the latest 3 iPhone. Like I don't have no like iPhone 2 or nothing crazy like that, but I can say that it is hard to switch when you have an iPhone. It is hard to switch from an iPhone to a Android, or is it any other type of phone? I just know we call everything that's not an iPhone an Android. Like say you with Apple Music, bro. It's one of the reasons I didn't change from an iPhone for a long time, because I wanted to move off of an iPhone a while back, but I couldn't because I had so much music in my Apple Music, bro. And I'm like, man, I'm not losing all this fucking music. And before they had the Apple Music, you had to pay for music, so you couldn't even do the little subscription shit where you could just download as much music as you want to that month and keep paying on a monthly subscription. You had to actually just buy the fucking music. Who is changing their phones when you have to pay actual money for stuff and it don't transfer over to a Android? Like I'm not switching if that's the case. And that's been the case with iPhone for a long, bro. I remember when you couldn't even charge your iPhone by plugging it into an Xbox. So if you didn't have like a box, you just had the cord, you plug it into the Xbox, shit wouldn't even charge, bro. I think it did charge now. I haven't tried it out, but I understand what the thing said, but here's the thing. Is it really iPhone's fault or Apple's fault that they done found a way to be successful like this? Like you could talk about how they done took away different accessories for the iPhone, how the iPhone don't really make really major improvements. I done seen other phones with better quality pictures than the iPhone. You send them to the iPhone, the picture look all distorted and shit. It's not really good. iPhone to Android connection's not really good compared to iPhone to iPhone. So I see everything that the people saying, but I mean, I don't really know how you can get mad at Apple for that. I mean, the consumer can be mad about it and whatnot, but you still gonna have consumers buying it, because I don't think Apple is just about the product no more, bro. Apple is like an aesthetic to people. Like, I don't give a fuck about, bro, if you came to me right now and say, yo, we taking your iPhone away, bro, you got to use Android from here on out, I'm going to say, all right. It's not going to bother me like that. I'm going to ask, can I get the phone numbers that I keep saved out of my phone? Any other important information? But aside from that, yeah, I'm not gonna care about it too much, bro. Some people just look at Apple phones as an aesthetic. Like, you gotta have the latest iPhone or I'm not cool and shit like that. And as much as we think people will grow out of that, it clearly people will not grow out of that, bro. So having an iPhone is some people's whole personality at times, yo. Like, having an expensive ass iPhone is people's personality. So, you know, it is what it is. But that popped up in my head. I thought about that. But anyways, the real thing that I wanted to get to start the show, I was saying I had saw Ice Cube offers $5 million contract, a $5 million contract to Caitlin Clark to come play in the Big Three instead of going to the WNBA, I guess, even though the Big Three and the WNBA kind of happened at the same time, I believe. Like, he took shots at them going overseas, which I'm not. I saw Lexia Brown talk about this on the Gil Arena show. And I understand she not happy with him taking a shot at the overseas thing. Cause them people, like the people overseas, yo, we done seen how vindictive they can be and childish they can be when it came to that Brittany Griner situation. So who knows? They hear Ice Cube say something like that and then they take that shit out on the women who go over there to play. So I understand her not being happy about him saying that. In a sense, though, I kind of understand him saying that because he thinking about the Brittany Griner situation in a sense and how they did her. But he also was kind of. OK, so what I want to say is I agree with what he said, even though what he said was probably him. He didn't really care about the issues. He was just restating talking points from people who done said these things before. And he probably didn't really agree with him. He just needed to get the media or the public on his side in the venture of what he was trying to do. So I get that. I get he didn't mean what he said, but what he said was true, even though he didn't mean what he said, possibly. And so that is, you know, they don't pay the women good enough in the WNBA, which we done had this conversation before. That's not the players' fault. That's not the NBA players' fault. Bro, TV deals, the TV networks just don't want to pay for the WNBA. The networks like ESPN and whatnot don't promote the WNBA the way that they promote the NBA, which have a lot to do, which I can't even blame them for that because the fan doesn't want to see the WNBA. And you can't say the fan don't want to see women's sports because college women's basketball is at an all-time high right now. Mind you, I've been watching college women's basketball forever. So I understand the people who not happy about the pay for women's basketball, but you got to understand that's a lot of different things happening that make it like that. That's not just certain people's fault. It's more than just one person or one group of people's fault that the women get paid the way they do. But I understand him saying that you don't get, because I think a rookie WNBA player can only make like 80 bands, bro. That's terrible. But also, when I say it's terrible for them to be getting paid that much in a professional sport, well, you also got to think, just because it's a professional sport, how many eyes is on that professional sport? The NFL and the NBA make a lot of bread. You know, I be seeing people talk trash about the NBA, but the NBA make a lot of bread. That's why they can pay their players the way they pay them. That's why they are the product. TV networks want the NBA. Streaming services want the NBA. Streaming services and networks want the NFL. It is what it is. In American sports, those two are the juggernaut. And baseball make a lot of bread too, but it just is what it is. That's why the WNBA don't make the bread that people feel like they should be making. But like I said, that's a conversation for a whole nother day. He is also right when it comes to put the women having to go to other countries to make bread because they don't get paid adequately in the WNBA. I understand that also. So while I understand Lexi not liking what he said because it could hurt the relationships of them with the countries that they go to overseas to play in the off season, I still understand the talking points that Ice Cube was saying because I feel the same way at times. Like, but even though I also understand like this is a bigger thing going on, like you can't just say they should make more money and boom, it happened. They still need the viewership. They need the sponsorship. They need the TV deals. Like, it's a lot to go in. It just ain't just the owners can, you know what I'm saying? But you know, should Caitlin Clark take that deal? Well, Lexi was mad for, I don't even know if that's actually how you pronounce her name. I'm gonna just call her Lexi. She a baddie, but she played for the Sparks. She, her problems with it was she didn't think Ice Cube really cared about women. Like, her whole thing was, if you care about women's sport, care for women's sport. And like her and Kenya Martin both alluded to, like, it was a lot of other women who you could have gave that deal to. Like, I understand how big Caitlin Clark is right now. And it's funny that every time somebody has something critical to say, it's called hating. Everybody calling Lexi a hater. But I'm glad I'm not the type of person who immediately hears somebody go against the norm and think to myself, oh, this motherfucker's a hater. Because I actually agree. If you listen to what Kenya Martin and Lexi said, what they said made a whole bunch of sense. And when I was listening to them say that shit, I was like, damn, bro, they got you, Ice. Because if you do care about women's sport, why haven't you offered this type of deal to Candace Parker? Candace Parker, one of the biggest WNBA names of all time. And she done had a great, why don't you offer this to Asia Wilson? Two-time WNBA champion, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP. Like, why don't you offer it to her? Why don't you offer it to Stewie, Breonna Stewart? Why don't you offer it to Sabrina? Why don't you offer it to Kelsey Plum? Like, it's a lot of great WNBA players right now in the WNBA who you could offer that money to. And if you care about women's sports, like you say you do, like they said, like they alluded to on the show, why wouldn't you offer that contract to some of those other women? Because they are just as deserving of it as Caitlin Clark. Not to mention, every woman I just named dominated in college and have dominated in the WNBA at some point in time. So they, as much as I like Caitlin Clark, she haven't dominated in the WNBA, which is a higher level than college women's basketball. Those other women have. So why don't you put the marketing machine behind them and offer them that contract? What do you see in Caitlin Clark that you don't see in them? Because if you think Caitlin Clark is a generational talent, how do you not think Asia Wilson is a generational talent? And one thing I get real sick of in Hollywood is every time I hear people come out, African Americans come out and say, we don't give black people ain't getting enough chances. They don't get enough opportunities. Why didn't you offer that contract to Angel Reese? She just as big. I would argue she the second biggest name in college, women's college sports right now. Behind Caitlin Clark. So I understand a lot of people gonna listen to it and be like, oh, Lexi a hater. It's funny that I didn't hear in the comment section, oh, Kenya Martin a hater. Some of y'all dudes is so sexist, bro. It's actually, I'm starting to think y'all boys is gay. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Some of y'all, like, y'all hate women so much, or hate hearing them speak or hearing their opinions so much, that I'm starting to think that y'all boys is gay. And I understand that certain people you don't want to hear, like if Sexy Red came out and said some shit, I'll probably still listen because I just like giving human beings the opportunity to speak. Now, if she always coming out saying some goofy shit like Mia Khalifa, then yeah, it's a great chance I'm not gonna want to hear or listen to anything you have to say. But that's more of the boy who cried wolf type shit. You know what I'm saying? It take a couple opportunities for me to be duped before I, some of y'all dudes, bro, as soon as a woman open her mouth, y'all get irritated. I'm like, you fellas is gay. There's no two ways around it. And that's what's so funny to me, because you hate women, you hate gay people, but you're gay. You're gay. I should, a great show would plug in the soundbite right now. Ain't nothing wrong with being a little gay. But you boys, there's something wrong with, not the gay part, just something wrong with you mentally, bro. Because Lexi said nothing crazy for you to just immediately yell out, hater, hater. She sound like a hater. She's a hater. All right, bro, do y'all care about listening? And this is what's funny to me. Men, these type of dudes want that same type of respect of listen to me speak before you tell me what I am. But when it comes to women, as soon as they say something, they're like, hater, hater. Oh, you sound like a hater, Lexi. Like, One dude said she looked like LeBron James with a receding hairline. I'm like, yeah, the levels of gay that you boys is willing to pull out is crazy. It's crazy. But I tend to agree with Lexi and Kenyon Martin, bro. Now, will Caitlin Clark take the deal? I think she should find out how to take that deal. Shit, fuck it. You trying to offer me $5 million, bro? You didn't. Now, obviously, he not going to release the contract details online. He didn't even release this. It was TMZ. But if we had to, I don't feel like, to me, she would have more control. She in the, what do you call it? She in the key position right now, bro. Like she don't have to, they have to bend to her, not the other way around. Like Caitlin Clark is in the king spot right now. So they would have to make decisions based off of Caitlin Clark, not the other way around. So if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm trying to figure out how to take this deal. I'm not going to lie to you. And I want Caitlin Clark to be great in the WNBA, so it could be funny. I mean, you'll have teammates who probably resent you early. And I hate that for Caitlin Clark, bro. Like, I really don't want that to happen to her early. I don't like seeing that shit happen to no young player early, because starting it off like that could really fuck your career, with everybody in every locker room resent you because of offers that's coming your way. I also don't feel like she should have to play the martyr or whatever you call it, where she don't take that deal because she want to take a stand for women. You know what I'm saying? Why should she have to turn down an offer that came from her hard work? Is regardless of how fucked up the offer may be to other people, her hard work still got her to this position. Now, you could say other women don't work just as hard to be able to be offered this opportunity, and I would agree with you. However, that's an argument in a situation you got to take up with Ice Cube, not with Caitlin Clark. See, I think too many times we get mad at the person who receiving the blessing and not the person that's actually giving them the blessing. Like, it is Ice Cube's money, so he could do with it what he want. But if you're gonna be mad at somebody, it can't be Caitlin Clark, bro. That's being mad at her would be basically like saying work less hard so you don't get offered these type of opportunities because other women didn't. Like, that's crazy. So, in my personal opinion, right now, if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm trying to, man. Okay, so honestly, if I'm Caitlin Clark, I probably have to turn down a deal just because I don't want her to have. I hate that she had to turn that shit down, though, because that's $5 million. Her rookie contract not paying her nowhere near $5 million. So I hate that she would have to turn down that type of lucrative deal for her. But like I said, bro, I just don't want her WNBA career to be fucked from the beginning because she got teammates who don't fuck with her. They won't pass her the ball. They don't really set her up to be great. They think already like, oh, she thinks she bigger than everybody on the team. Even though she probably is bigger than everybody on the team. They already put that on her as like, oh, she act like she bigger than everybody on the team because of contracts and deals and offers that come her way. Like, I don't want to see that happen to her. So if I was Caitlin Clark, I probably wouldn't take the deal, but I'd be mad as hell not taking the deal. I'm gonna just let y'all know that. And I'll probably call out my teammates later on down the line and be like, I probably will, but I just don't want her to have to pass up on this type of bread, to be honest with you, especially if it's simple bread. Like, bro, you play for the big, but then you gotta think, man, in the big three, is you gonna protect her? Is you gonna let them boys go out there and play crazy when she on the court, like hitting her for no reason and bumping her and just doing a whole bunch of reckless shit they be doing in the big three at times when they trying to play aggressive? Because you can't have that happen to Caitlin Clark, especially when she the biggest star in your league now. So I want Caitlin Clark to make this bread, bro. I really do. I really want Caitlin Clark to make this bread. I just don't see how she can make this bread and not have teammates just absolutely irritate the fuck out of her for it. You know what I'm saying? Because Lexi's comments was valid. I think Lexi should have took it a step further, though. To me, Lexi should have spoke on like, yo, she gonna have, and maybe she did and I just don't remember, but she should have spoke on the fact like, yo, it's teammates who gonna resent her for this, and it's got nothing to do with her, because that's just how the human being is programmed. So I'm on Kenyon and Lexi's side, but I'm also on the Caitlin Clark side of, I know Caitlin be tired of this shit, bro. She just wake up in the morning, bro, and people be hating on her. This the type of shit that, and she already got an advantage, bro. That's just how you know sport. People is just gonna be haters regardless. Because Caitlin Clark probably think to herself one or twice in this span, like, yo, I am a white woman doing this shit in a black person dominated sport. And I know we done seen Breonna Stewart and whatnot, and I know some people will look at it different. I didn't even heard people say, well, you can't look at the WNBA the way you look at the NBA. I just think about basketball, and basketball is predominantly a black athlete dominated sport. But you look at Caitlin Clark doing this shit. She a white woman, and she doing this, dominating people. You would think that she would have, because we seen it last year where people was defending her when Angel Reese did the "You Can't See Me," but when Caitlin Clark was going around doing it, nobody said shit. Angel Reese did it to her. Oh, she bullying. So we done seen how the white girl, black girl dynamic play out. And I know Caitlin Clark be thinking to herself like, bro, and I still got haters. I know she be thinking to herself like, yo, I got the races on my side, so I ain't got to worry about them motherfuckers talking crazy unless I go date a black dude or a black woman. I don't know if Caitlin Clark gay or not. So. I ain't want to box my girl in, you did. But when it comes to, I was looking at something. But yeah. If I'm Caitlin Clark, I don't know if she gay or not, so that's why I use that thing. But I'm taking that bread. What I am watching, bro, got me so enthralled, bro. Some Marvel shit. It look like some video game they creating or something like that. And it's got like a lot of different characters. If they could make a great superhero game, preferably DC, I'm not really a Marvel guy, I probably would play it, but it have to consist of us being able to play legitimate missions online. Like, bro, it can't keep being the same type of fucking mission. Go defend this area. Go kill this, but like, bro, it can't keep being that, bro. I don't know how we in 2024 and game developers haven't progressed past these same old stupid ass repetitive missions. But if me and the homies could get online and play like different Marvel characters, I mean not Marvel characters, play as different superheroes, you don't even gotta let me create my own superhero, bro. Just let me have a whole bunch of creativity over the superheroes we using. Like, if it's me and 3 homies, and one of them using Batman, one of them using Superman, one of them using Flash, and one of them using Wonder Woman. Let me have max creativity over those characters. Like, if I'm using Wonder Woman, because it's not really a reality where I'm going to be using Flash, because I'm just not a Flash type of guy. He would probably be one of the last people I used. I want to be able to max the fuck out of, I want to be able to edit her to a T. Let me edit her hairstyle, her fingernail polish, her fit. Obviously, I want to do her whole fit. Don't give me no fit that's like an outfit. Let me create the outfit. I want to create her top. I want to create her a top armor. I want to create the undergarments on her top. I want to create her tights that she wear. The gold. I want to create every single aspect so the character can look unique to how I want her to look. Now, obviously, you could still have her past comic book outfits. You could have the Gal Gadot type of fit on there for that Wonder Woman. Hell, you could put past Wonder Womans on there, even though every time games put like characters from throwback times in the bad graphic type things, I never use it, bro. Contrary to most popular belief, I do not like bad graphic games. And nostalgia do not make me go back and play games that had bad graphics, bro. Games have good graphics for a reason now. Them old shits was eyesores, especially when you realize how good graphics are now. But listen, when it come to Caitlin Clark, to put this whole thing in a bow, like I said, I agree with Lexi and I agree with Kenyon. And I just want what's best for Caitlin Clark, to be honest with you, bro. I want her to make that $5 million, but I know how it'd be if she tried to take that deal. People look at her like, oh, she a rookie in the WNBA. She haven't put in her dues to be getting that type of contract. People will resent Ice Cube for it too. I just feel like she'd get more of the hate. And I really hate that for Caitlyn, bro, because Caitlyn's a hooper. Caitlyn is a fucking hooper. I don't think nothing. I don't know how she gonna play in the WNBA, bro. I saw Skylar Diggins in college tear it up, and she didn't play in the WNBA the way she played in college. So I think Caitlin Clark is better than Skylar Diggins, but who knows how this thing plays out? All I know is this. The same way I just said that about Skylar, Candace Parker was a hooper in college, hooped in the WNBA. Lisa Leslie was a hooper in college, hooped in the WNBA. I'm going to stop using Sparks players because I was about to just reel off a whole bunch of Sparks players because that's a team I rooted for. But Asia Wilson was great in college at South Carolina. Great when she got to dominant when she got to the WNBA. So I actually think Caitlyn and Angel Reese will be great players when they get to the WNBA. My only thing with Angel Reese is actually, she says she can multitask because she got a lot of different things going on that she want to do. So basketball not her only focus. I realized that about her and Flau'jae. And maybe that's why people look at Caitlin Clark the way they look at. Like, anytime somebody put Caitlin Clark over Angel Reese, I get it. Because Caitlin Clark seemed to be just zoned in with basketball. And I'm the first person who will point out a race type of thing. But I don't think this is a race thing with Caitlin Clark. And obviously when they did the You Can't See Me shit. But when it just come to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Flau'jae and a lot of the other women like, what's my girl over there? Juju Watkins. I don't think it's a race thing, bro. I think like Caitlin Clark is just her right now. Now, if she'll be that when she get to the WNBA, who knows? But I think she will still be great. But I just want her to make her bread, bro. I just want her to make as much bread as she could possibly make. Change her family's life. Change her life. Because I understand, you know, people want to be entertained by the sport and yada, yada, yada. But I care about these men and women changing their lives, bro. I want them to make as much bread as they could possibly make. So if it was a way for her to be able to take that deal and not piss people off, even though she really can't control the people who get pissed off by it, you know, it just is what it is at the end of the day. But moving back to Aaron. Oh, actually, before I get to Aaron Donald, also, I want to talk about, because Aaron Donald, I'll probably get to him. We'll get to him towards the end of the show. L'Jarius Sneed traded from Kansas City to the Titans, signed a contract extension with the Titans, a very lucrative contract extension. He deserves it. What's interesting to me is how teams can just put that tag on somebody and then trade them. They get all they can out of you. Then they like, well, we still need one more thing out of you. We need value. We need to be able to trade you for something. We don't want to give you away for nothing, even though it's a crazy game. So I'm hoping that L'Jarius Sneed actually wanted to be a Tennessee Titan. Like that's where he wanted to go if he were a free agent. And so that's why they ended up trading him there so he could get compensation. So they could just make some type. I think they traded they got a 3rd round pick for him. And some people might be like, well, why would they be able to get a 3rd round pick for him when he was technically, he could be a free agent, yada. Well, because it was multiple teams probably trying to get a trade in there for him. So you still had value. L'Jarius had value. Multiple teams was probably trying to trade for him, which was different from the Bears' former quarterback. But I don't really know how L'Jarius, I think L'Jarius Sneed will be good, but the difference is he won't be as good as he was in Kansas City because he's not playing with a team that's playing for the same thing. Now, technically, every player, every team is trying to win a Super Bowl. We understand that. But the Kansas City Chiefs are built in Super Bowl blood, basically. That's all they know at this point with Pat Mahomes is getting to and winning Super Bowls or giving themselves an opportunity every single year. That's what they're playing for. They're not playing for nothing else. They are playing for a Super Bowl every single year. The Titans ain't playing for a Super Bowl every year. The Titans ain't even playing to be competitive every year. The Titans right now is trying to rebuild the team because I don't think that they have their quarterback of the future over there. Because I don't believe in Will Levis from what I done seen so far. But, I give people multiple years to show me something. I just didn't like what I saw from Will Levis last year, really. But as good as I think L'Jarius Sneed will be, I just want to get this out the way for Titan fans ahead of time. If you expect him to be as great as he was in Kansas City, you just got another thing coming. For one, Kansas City had a lot of great players around L'Jarius. You have a quarterback who can capitalize on the defensive greatness of the Chiefs. It's just a lot of different things. Steve Spagnuolo, the coordinator, it's a lot of things that went into helping L'Jarius Sneed be great. So to expect L'Jarius Sneed, I'm not telling you don't expect him to be great. He will more than likely be great for the Titans. But to expect him to be what he was for the Chiefs, but that's not on L'Jarius Sneed. That's on the two different organizations. Because if you want L'Jarius Sneed to resemble what he resembled in Kansas City, well, you got to put together a Tennessee Titans team that resembles the Kansas City team he just came from. He just came from a team with a franchise quarterback, a franchise running back, a great offensive line, a stud defense, a great head coach, everybody on the team working towards one goal, the understanding that we play for Super Bowls and nothing else over here. That's not Tennessee right now. So I just want people to understand that off rip, because I know how people kill players if they don't look exactly how they look when they just left a team. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? This not Patrick Queen leaving Baltimore going to the Steelers, where the expectation is the exact same, Super Bowls. This is them coming from an organization that actually acts on what that Super Bowl aspiration. Bro, this is Tennessee and Kansas City. And I understand the success that that Tennessee had over those last couple years with Derrick Henry. But this is Tennessee and this is KC. So please understand the difference. And don't kill this kid or this man because, he might not look as great as he looked. Like, come on, bro. Y'all do that shit every time a corner leave their previous situation. People start killing them, boy. When Richard Sherman left Seattle and went to the 49ers, people started killing. They killed Richard before he left Seattle, because he talk a lot, so people don't like it when a black man talk about how great he is. People hate that shit. J.C. Jackson, it's another corner, bro. They were saying Reeves had lost a step when he had left New York. Like, bro, they be killing corners when they leave their previous situations, bro. It's crazy. Also, I just saw a clip of Caleb Williams. They gonna keep bringing up Caleb Williams and these fucking nails, man. They really gonna keep bringing this shit up about him and his nails. So he has some pink colored nails, a pink phone case. And I guess he has something else that people consider feminine. Now, listen, when I say that, I don't want people to think, so you don't agree. The only thing in that situation is the fingernails, because women are the ones who usually paint their fingernails. But in 2024, bro, we just done got to come to the exception or the realization. Motherfuckers is out there painting their nails too, bro. It just is what it is. Dudes painting their nails too, bro. Just let people do what they do. However, everything that I'm seeing to try to convince people that Caleb Williams is going to be a bad quarterback is crazy. Once again, have never seen. And it's really in the defense of Justin Fields, because people feel like Justin Fields got done dirty. But again, for one, this ain't even the same fucking GM. This GM did not draft Justin Fields, for one. He could have drafted himself a quarterback last year, but decided to give Justin Fields another opportunity, which I thought was stupid last year, because I thought you had seen enough if you had watched him play to know he was not a franchise quarterback. I just really wish I could sit down with these people who defend Justin Fields to the T, because every time I see them defend him online, it's a bunch of nonsense that they use to defend him. They didn't do what they should have done for him. We didn't do him. We did him dirty. It's not really any substance. Like, what exactly did Chicago do to do him dirty? And I would like to sit down with this group of people, this multitude of people, to see if they could come up with legitimate reasons as to how Justin Fields was done dirty. Because I listen to some of the people who actually watch football and actually can break down the game, who actually understand what they're watching. And the same thing keep being said. Well, Justin Fields can't throw the fucking football. And that's not them saying, he can't throw a ball. That's them saying he has absolutely shown us zero improvement in the pass game. He cannot stand back in the pocket and deliver the throws that he need to make on an NFL level. So that's the first thing. I wish people would stop acting like children when we say somebody can't throw. When we say somebody can't throw, we're not saying what y'all try to say about Lamar Jackson as in somebody can't throw a fucking football. What we're saying is the smart people who actually watch the game and then breaking it down in a way that, now listen, bro, it's people out there who use all these different type of football concepts and whatnot. Like, okay, so Shannon do that shit sometimes where he try to like name the concepts and the exact, like the sluggos and all the type of things. And I don't think Shannon don't watch football, but he definitely ain't watching all the teams that he talk about. So when he try to use those phrases, he might confuse you into thinking he know what he talking about because he can just name some concepts that's popularized throughout football. When in actuality, he is using previous knowledge of something to talk about this. He not actually just breaking things down as they are year by year because he not watching every team play year by year. But I look at somebody like Kurt Warner, who say he watch a lot of film and break down quarterbacks and whatnot. And I look at how he talk about Justin Fields. And I'm like, this is a dude who must look at Justin Fields because it's a lot of things in the past. I done said it before. At first, I thought it was just he needed to improve in key parts of the passing game. Then I realized this dude is still playing at a rookie level when it comes to the passing game. And it's not even like debatable. And then I saw Michael Smith talk about how he think Justin Fields like the greatest runner of the football all time. It's things like that keep pushing people away from the fact that this is a bad quarterback. When you try to throw in the caveat of, well, he can run the ball real good, bro. He run more than we want him to run. If you're a head coach if you're an offensive play caller, Justin Fields ran the ball at times where you felt like, bro, it was passes there to be made if you had to just stood in the pocket and had been willing to take a hit or two here or there to make the throw. Like, I just think it's ridiculous to be like, oh, well, you know, he the greatest runner of the football all time. What the fuck does that mean? What does that do for us as a football team? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, for me, I'm not a fan of this Justin Fields circle, bro. I think y'all are a bunch of dipshits at this point. And this hate that y'all sending Caleb Williams' way is just weird as fuck to me, bro. Y'all wishing on this young man's downfall because you're sorry, man. I'm trying not to go crazy, but the bum of a quarterback that you had that didn't develop in year 1, 2, or 3. Y'all mad that y'all blame him not developing on the team, which is things that the team, if Justin Fields was a competent passer, bro, then you can come to me and say, you don't have good enough weapons. The reality is, I really don't know how good or bad. Well, I do know he had good weapons, but I don't know how greater they could have been if he had been better in the passing game. I've seen so many times where Justin Fields made bad passes and they blamed it on the receiver because the receiver was able to find a way to put his hands on the ball. I firmly believe Caleb Williams will do good in Chicago. He got good weapons. He got good enough weapons because I don't really know how much do Keenan Allen still got in the tank will be interesting to me. I think he still got a lot left in the tank. I'm expecting him to be good in Chicago, but just in case he don't got it. I mean, Jim Harbaugh came in there and said, bro, get all these fucking receivers out of here, bro. Get them all out, bro. I don't fucking need them. Now, I'm going to tell you what's interesting. You get rid of Keenan Allen, who directly helps your quarterback, but you keep Joey Bosa, who always hurt, and you keep Khalil Mack, who was traded for anyways. He's not even a Charger. Keenan Allen was drafted to the Chargers. So when you talk about loyalty, miss me with that shit, because where is the loyalty to Keenan Allen? Why should he take a pay cut when he's been one of the biggest reasons the success you have had directly correlates to how good he play? It makes no sense. his opposition or his running mate is usually hurt on the other side of him, meaning he usually got to take on a bigger load and still see crazy coverages because he don't got the dude on the other side of him all the time to take the pressure off. His quarterback at times is a check down merchant, but y'all don't like to speak on that. But his quarterback ain't the greatest in fourth quarters at times. But some reason he the one who got to take the pay. Not to mention, Keenan Allen was not paid before he proved he was a top tier receiver. Justin Herbert was paid before he had ever even made the playoffs. You make excuses every time Justin Fields. You want to know something? It's a conversation going on Twitter right now about Trevor Lawrence not being a top 10 quarterback. And I don't understand how it's so easy to have these conversations where people disrespect Lamar. People disrespect Jalen Hurts. People disrespect Dak. And I'm not talking about being critical of them. I'm talking about when people just straight up disrespect how good these players are. But then when you try to say something like, well, you know, Trevor Lawrence really haven't been that great in his career, even if you take away that first year, and then it's an uproar. You say Justin Herbert done thrown for a lot of stats, but really haven't accomplished much, and it's an uproar. But these is just factual statements, bro. Listen, I understand. When you talk about one of them white knights, it get crazy. But listen, I agree with those people who say Trevor Lawrence isn't the top 10 quarterback. I've been saying it for the last couple years. The best year they had so far with Trevor Lawrence wasn't because of Trevor Lawrence. It was because they had a phenomenal run game. The run game really was what kept them. Mind you, the season didn't even start off great for him. But Travis Etienne taking a step back last year, to me, was one of the biggest reasons they struggled. Not to mention, they played Trevor Lawrence when he was hurt. They probably should have gave him 2 games off. They played him, and he played terrible in those games. So, in my opinion, that also has a lot to do with the white fan base who love to say shit like, oh, well, you know, Joe Burrow standing on the sideline. Where Lamar Jackson? Where Deshaun Watson? You know, when you got white people who be doing that ignorant shit every 2 seconds, that make a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence say, well, you know, now I got to play so they don't say that about me. They was never going to say that about you, buddy. But I understand you thinking that they would have said it about you. But nah, they wasn't going to say that about you, buddy. They don't say it. Joe Burrow done missed damn near 2 seasons of his career, and most people don't consider him injury prone. So it just is what it is at this point. But I wouldn't put Trevor Lawrence. Let me think of the quarterbacks I'd take over Trevor Lawrence right now in no particular order after I get to a certain point. Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow. Obviously, I'm taking them over him. I take Dak over him right now. I take Jalen Hurts over him right now. People who think Trevor Lawrence like this otherworld passer just ain't been watching the games. I'm not telling he can't pass the ball, because he is definitely he can operate in the passing game and whatnot. But it's not what you thought it was gonna be when he came out of Clemson. I can just tell you that right now. I'm taking Burrow over him, even though I think I said Burrow already. Dak, Hurts. I'd take Jared Goff over him right now. CJ Stroud. I mean, shit, I kind of take Brock Purdy over him right now. Here's my problem. If I would take Jared Goff over him right now, that mean I would take Brock Purdy over him right now. The problem is, I think out of all the quarterbacks with a ceiling, who you have to have a great game plan for and to operate, I think the best one is Jared Goff. But I've been said that, like, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Brock Purdy, Dak. Well, Dak Dak is kind of like that, but I think Dak is better than them. I take Kirk Cousins over him right now. I take Kyler Murray over him right now. Shit, it's a lot of quarterbacks I'd take over Trevor Lawrence right now. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget nobody obvious. Oh, I'd take Jordan Love over him right now. Trying to make sure I don't forget nobody. I think that's pretty much, because everybody else is like up in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like, Caleb Williams could come in, have a great year, and then boom, I take him over Trevor Lawrence right now. If Trevor Lawrence struggle again next year. But I really think they're gonna revamp that run game for the Jags. I'm kind of shocked the Jags didn't go out and get a running back, but I think that's because they believe Travis Etienne just had a down year last year. He'll be back and be better this year. And if he is better this year, he back to what he was previously, then yeah, Trevor Lawrence will have another good year. But this is the thing with me, bro. When I watch these teams, I'm not just counting. Trevor Lawrence's success is not the team's success, even though his success is directly correlated. The team's success is directly correlated to how he play. I'm still able to differentiate. Like, if the team having success, okay, is it because, obviously it's going to be because Trevor Lawrence playing good, but is Trevor Lawrence playing at a level where it's just like, okay, all of the success is predicated on how he play? No. He playing good enough to not cost them games, but is he playing like otherworldly? Like, who was putting up? Who done had a season? Like Aaron Rodgers when he was with the Packers. You could clearly see it was a lot to do with Rodgers and how great he was. I mean, you see the passing stats. You see how great he was operating the offense. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers got a lot to do. That's not Trevor Lawrence to me. So I get the people who don't think he a top 10 quarterback, especially if you watch him play over his career so far. And I understand a lot of people like to take that first year out. Some people don't take the first year out. I get it. We don't do that for most quarterbacks. So I'm not mad when people be like, no, I ain't taking his first year out. I get it. You won't get no pushback from me, but I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback anyways. And I probably, after all them quarterbacks I named, didn't think he was a top 15 quarterback, but you know, he's still young and got time to improve and grow. You thought he would have been better. I said it in the offseason last year, going into last season, that I would like to see the Jags offensive pass game be better this year. Like, I would like to see Trevor Lawrence take that next step in the pass game. I didn't see him take that next step in the pass game last year, so hopefully they take it this year. But I think that's what's holding the Jags back. Like, I understand. I said last year I didn't think they had a otherworldly type of defense, but they had a good enough defense. I just didn't think the offense had went to the next level that it should have went to for them to be. Because, bro, this is what you got to consider. You can't want to stay as good. Like, some people be like, well, if he just do what he did last year and the defense get better, then we good. But that's not really taking into account the fact that the Ravens offense got better. Pat Mahomes always getting better. Other teams that have offenses that got better or added a key piece that took them to another level. You can't just measure your success against your success or your improvements based off of like, well, we fell short last year, so if we do this year, but other teams still get better. And so, to me, when the running game took a regress for the Jags, but the pass game didn't progress, this is the result you got. And I understand people immediately want to be like, well, you know, he didn't have a running game. Bro, the Jags, I get that run game shit, but Cincinnati had a running back, never used him, so he didn't have a run game. Lamar Jackson is the run game for the Ravens most of the time because they running backs usually didn't finish with more yards than him. Like, it's a lot of, what, before last year or the year before Isaiah Pacheco got there, Pat Mahomes didn't have a reliable run game. Josh Allen ain't never had a reliable run game. So I understand people want to try to use certain things, but that's my problem when I come. The way I base my how I talk about certain quarterbacks is just because I done seen what other quarterbacks have done in the time frame they done it in, with or without certain pieces. Like, I'm watching Lamar make the Ravens competitive every year of his career. He has never had an all-pro level receiver. Pat Mahomes done won multiple Super Bowls. He has never had, before last year, a great run game. He done it the last 2 years without great receiving help. Joe Burrow, I understand, done had a lot on offense, but really ain't never had a great offensive line. He done had a great defense before. I don't know why people act like he ain't never had a great defense, but it's Josh Allen has never had a good run game, a great run game, a run game that could take the pressure off of him legitimately. Now, some people be like, well, last year he had a run game. Last year that run game was good in parts because of how bad other parts of the offense were. Josh Allen has never been able to turn around and rely on his run game to win them games in big games. He always gonna still keep the ball in his hands. So when you tell me, oh, well, you know, Saint, Justin Fields ain't had this and Trevor Lawrence ain't had that, I'm like, man, it's a lot of great quarterbacks who ain't had this and that either and still were more than successful. They showed you I'm still that dude. And if you give me certain things, I could possibly get us over that hump. I don't think these, to me right now with Justin Fields is not Justin Fields. I be seeing people say that Josh Allen is a roller coaster, when really I just think people don't understand how the NFL season goes at times. People expect Josh Allen to be great all year, when the reality is it's the NFL, bro. Other people get paid to be great too. The reality is Josh Allen has always given his team an opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl, like Lamar, like Mahomes, like Burrow, and like a lot of these other great quarterbacks. So, I'm not too big on the excuses that a lot of people give Trevor Lawrence. I do think the Trevor Lawrence contract is coming up. What's interesting is they have not paid Trevor Lawrence. They haven't given him an extension yet. I do think they'll extend him, because why in God's name would you not extend him when you really don't have any other options and you're not going to finish in a low enough position to draft a quarterback? So I expect they'll end up extending Trevor Lawrence. It might be to me, this is like the Dak Prescott situation, where they didn't know if he was good enough to win a Super Bowl, but you knew you didn't have no other option better than Dak Prescott, so you had to pay him. It'll be interesting if they pay him this second time around. Once again, I think they have no option. You're not going to finish in a low enough position to not to be able to draft a great quarterback. And if you let Dak go, every team that need a quarterback will immediately try to sign Dak Prescott. And I think the same thing will happen for Trevor Lawrence. Some team will say, we can turn Trevor Lawrence into what he was in college. So for that reason, the Jags, if I'm the Jags, and it's going to sound crazy, before I got rid of Trevor Lawrence, I would get rid of the head coach or the offensive coordinator, or figure out something offensively to try to get him over that hump, because it's just too hard trying to go back and find a new quarterback and reset and can't do it. It's a game that you don't want to play when you have a quarterback that he might not be great, but he good enough in your mind. So I think you just got to try to fix the offense, figure out if, maybe add pieces here or there, even though, you just let Calvin Ridley walk out the door because you wasn't going to pay him what the Titans just paid him, which interesting that the Titans decided to pay him that, but wouldn't pay AJ Brown, a year prior? Or 2 years prior to that. That's insanity, because AJ Brown is the far better receiver than Calvin Ridley at this point in their career. So that is just absolutely insane. It's always funny when the teams show you how stupid they are, what they won't commit to, but what they will commit to. So the Falcons would not go after Lamar Jackson 2 years ago, after trying to pay Deshaun Watson, who to this point in his career being back has been nowhere near as good as Lamar Jackson. They also thought, the owner said, that the quarterback they had in Desmond Ridder was better than Lamar Jackson, even though nothing that he had shown you in college or in the pros to that point had made you believe he was better than Lamar Jackson. You was just talking crazy. And then you go out and give Kirk Cousins $140 million, $100 guaranteed, but you wouldn't go after Lamar. The Panthers. You trade everything you traded for to get Bryce Young. But you wouldn't go after a proven commodity in Lamar Jackson. Now, people keep talking about these draft picks. The Panthers gave up 2 first-round draft picks for an unknown. It's funny to me how owners and fans convince themselves that players are bad, how they worth going for, and this and that. It's very funny to me. Very, very funny to me. But shout out to Jadeveon Clowney. He just signed with the Panthers. So the Panthers just got a dude who, if you compete, I just don't really like that signing for Jadeveon, because Jadeveon Clowney, to me, he play at his best when he play for a team that's actually fighting for something. When he playing on a team that ain't got shit to fight for, that's probably when you'll get the worst of Jadeveon Clowney. He not going to go as hard as he go as like he would when he played for a team that's actually got a chance to compete for a championship or compete for something. I don't think the Panthers will be competing for much of anything this year. I think the Falcons will win that division, because I think Kirk Cousins is that much better of a quarterback than everybody in that division. Unless Bryce Young just have a breakout year this year, which would be right on point, because the year number 2 is usually when dudes go crazy. But Bryce Young had such a struggle in that first year, which I don't necessarily put it all on him. Now, I know some people think my Alabama bias is coming through, but when you play behind that offensive line that he played behind last year, it all begins to make sense, bro. That was not a good offensive line he had to play behind last year, bro. That was tough for anybody to have to play behind that offensive line. So I still think Bryce Young can be a great quarterback. My only problem with Bryce Young is my same problem with Kyler Murray. They so small, bro. Like that's literally my only problem. They so small, so you don't know how much damage they can take before you just don't know how much damage they can take before it could possibly be the end of their careers, bro, because they so small. Like Bryce and Kyler, and I'm talking about in human stature. They just not in the type of hits that they'll take, and the fact that Bryce had to play behind that terrible ass offensive line already is just, you know what I'm saying? It's tough to have a quarterback that small in stature, but if he's smart when he in the pocket, if he play, what you don't want is for your quarterback to have to play in a Kyler Murray type of, see, that's the thing with Kyler. I don't know how great Kyler Murray could have been if he played in an offense with more structure that made him play a more structured quarterback. Because I think Kyler Murray play a lot like Russell Wilson played in his prime, where the biggest plays he make is usually when he running around and it's like backyard football. It's usually not him just dropping back and making a decision. And could that be because of his height? Could that be because it's a lot of things that could contribute to it? But to me, one of the biggest problems with Kyler Murray to this point in his career is because he haven't played in an offense that will allow him to just drop back and be great. It's always like running around backyard football, and that shit would get, for one, you don't want to have to rely on that, because you look at what Russell Wilson is in his career right now. He would be such a better quarterback at this point in his career if the majority of his prime he didn't rely on running around and having to make plays. If he could have just operated from the pocket. That's why I kind of get irritated when people get mad at Lamar. They be like, "Oh, bro, you should have ran right there. You should have ran." Bro, the dude understand how this thing go. He wants to know that when he get older, he can rely on just standing in the pocket, being able to make throws. Even when it don't always look great for him. The fact that he continuously is trying to perfect that skill set of being able to just operate from the pocket without running. And I'm imagining he will still be able to take off at different parts of his career. Michael Vick could still run late in his career. It's about staying healthy and giving your team an opportunity to maximize, not just your team, but you, an opportunity to maximize your career without injuries, and every quarterback and player are going to get hurt. It's the injuries that take you out and take time off of your career. That's what you're trying to avoid. So could you imagine if Kyler Murray could just operate from the pocket and play like a clean game? But it's that height, man. Him and Bryce so small. But anyways, let's get to what we're here for. Aaron Donald. That boy. That's what Chad Ochocinco like to say. That boy. Listen, man. The greatest that I've ever seen. When I built my Mount Rushmore of the greatest defensive players I ever seen, it's Aaron Donald, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. And how did I forget my man's name that quick? How I forget my man's name that quick. J.J. Watt. I don't know how I forgot my man's name that quick. But again, it's Aaron Donald, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, J.J. Watt. To me, when I think about the greatest defenders I done ever seen in my lifetime, those four, nothing like them. Nothing like them. Like, Ed, I still don't think I done seen a middle linebacker play the middle linebacker. Like, I love watching Luke Kuechly. I love watching Roquan, C.J. Mosley throughout his prime, because they played the linebacking position at such a high level. It just reminds you in ways of what Ray Lewis could do, because he could go sideline to sideline. He could blitz your quarterback. He could get to the backfield and stop the run. He could run with the tight end and receivers in the open field. He could get horizontal. He could get vertical. It was just so much shit that Ray Lewis could do. You like, bro, how the fuck can one player that's not a quarterback have this type of fucking impact on a game. Well, when you a multi-talented player like that, when you a Swiss Army knife, but you the highest level of a Swiss Army knife. So, you got Swiss Army knives, right? But then you got super Swiss Army knives, bro. Like the ones that's like high level. Like these motherfuckers really do everything they set out to do to a high level. That's Ray Lewis, bro. That's Ray Lewis. That's Ed Reed. That's J.J. Watt. And that's Aaron Donald. That's why they are the players on my, because it's players who, like, I understand some people might have wanted to put a cornerback on there, and I struggle with it. You got, to me, Tyrann Mathieu is one of the greatest safeties I've ever had an opportunity of watching. You watch, what's my man's name? Darrell Reeves, Richard Sherman. I thought about putting them on here, but I just couldn't at the end of the day. I wanted to put Earl Thomas was a great safety. Cam Chancellor was a great safety. There was a lot of great players. Luke Kuechly just missed the list. If he and Patrick Willis had to play for longer, they both probably make this Mount Rushmore. But I'm pretty secure with the guys who I got on here. Now, I know some people might hear this and be like, oh, but you biased. You put 2 Ravens on there. The 2 Ravens I put on there is the greatest players at their position, respectively. There is not a middle linebacker better than Ray Lewis. There is not a safety greater than Ed Reed. So you can call it being biased, but that's just knowing ball, fam. That's just knowing ball. And so when I look at Aaron Donald and I look at those other greats, because J.J. Watt had a stretch, bro, when I was watching. But this motherfucker was piling up damn near 15 plus sacks a season. Injuries really fucked J.J. Watt's career. Like I always be saying that I always be saying Nick Bosa is the better of the 2 Bosa brothers. I don't think I'd have never said TJ Watt was better than JJ, because I remember JJ in his prime, bro. And JJ in his prime was a fucking menace, bro. Now, TJ might be the clutcher of the 2, because I can't remember if JJ was getting them sacks like at the end of games where he probably was, though, bro, because JJ was just a complete player, bro. He could get up there and tip the ball. Like, bro, JJ Watt in his prime was a fucking sicko, bro. I remember Skip Bayless used to get out. He always hurt because them workouts. He goes so crazy in the workouts. Because, he used to box jump like a motherfucker. Bro, JJ Watt was a fucking specimen. I remember, bro, if he could have played for a better team, you know what? And it's not even on JJ, bro, because JJ gave everything he had. And the Texans just wasn't doing shit for JJ, man. Like, Deshaun Watson came late when the injuries started to happen. Jadeveon Clowney, he was good with him and JJ played great together, but that Jadeveon was hurt for 1 year. Then JJ started getting hurt. So they never really became a duo that they could have became, because they could have became, oh my goodness. The years that they played together was great years. But JJ was basically at the back end of his career. Man, if the injuries don't happen, can we think of too many? Like, bro, just think of some of the players who was unbelievably great, who had their primes cut because of injuries. You got JJ and Luke Kuechly immediately jumped to the top of my head. Them 2 motherfuckers could have been the GOATs if they never get hurt. Like, what Luke Kuechly was out there doing at the middle linebacking position on a year-to-year basis was crazy. And I think he gonna make the Hall of Fame for the simple reason Patrick Willis made the Hall of Fame and he retired early. And he had, him and Luke Kuechly both had short careers. But you want to talk about short and impactful? My goodness. Luke Kuechly and Patrick Willis was, for one, both of them helped the team get to a Super Bowl, being the best defensive player on the Super Bowl contending team, or on a team that got to the Super Bowl, because Luke got there with the Panthers. Pat got there with the Niners. They both really spent their entire careers with those 1 teams, I believe. I don't think Pat played anywhere else but San Fran. Both retired early because of injuries, basically. Concussions for Luke, other injuries for Pat. And if you look at their short careers, you can't tell me those not Hall of Famers, bro. You can't tell me those is not Hall of Famers when you look at the film. Luke Kuechly from year 1 to however many years he played, I can't remember at the moment, to me was a Hall of Famer. And the same with Pat. So I'm happy that Pat Willis made the Hall of Fame. I'm so happy he made the Hall of Fame because that just let me know that Luke Kuechly is not going to miss the Hall of Fame. Because I would have been pissed the fuck off if Luke Kuechly didn't make the Hall of Fame. The same with Pat Willis, because I know this is my problem with the Baseball Hall of Fame. I know what I was watching when I was watching them games. I know the players that teams prepared against, who teams knew, man, if this motherfucker come up with a big hit, he gonna probably make that big hit. Like, I know what I saw, bro. And for some of these players who I saw be so legendarily great during their era, not make the Baseball Hall of Fame to me is insane. So when I watch these football players who put their bodies on the line to go out there and be great, to see some of them not make the Hall of Fame, the ones that I got to watch, is just criminal. So I'm so happy that the NFL did not rob Pat Willis of his Hall of Fame because he was a Hall of Fame player while he was playing. I don't care how short or long his career was. Same with Luke Kuechly. You watched both of those dudes play and you knew you was watching a future Hall of Famer. And when I say future Hall of Famer, I'm not talking about, oh, he could put together a couple more years. No. When I say future Hall of Famer, I'm saying you watched him knowing, oh, he headed to Canton when he retired. I don't know if he gonna retire today, tomorrow, next week, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But when he retired, he's headed to Canton. So shout out to Pat Willis, man. I don't never think I came on here and talked about him making the Hall of Fame. But back to my guy, Aaron Donald, man. The greatest that I've ever seen. And I done named a lot of great defensive players to this point. And Aaron Donald, to me, was the greatest one. For one, I can't remember the last time I seen a defensive tackle have to play against a double team, triple team, 4 motherfuckers. Like, go look at the pictures that's out there right now for people talking about Aaron Donald's career. Some of the shit he had to go, which it doesn't shock me that he retired after 10 years because he had already alluded to retiring early anyways. But then on top of that, see, Aaron Donald's smart. He understands that a Super Bowl for a defensive tackle do not mean shit compared to a Super Bowl for a quarterback. Aaron Donald understood the stats and impact on the game is how I become a Hall of Famer. And to get 1 Super Bowl will definitely put me in conversations that I probably don't get to get into if I don't have it. But because I have it, that's all I needed. He don't have to go chasing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Super Bowls. If he was fortunate enough to play on a team that was able to capture all those, great. But at the end of the day, a quarterback is who we hold the Super Bowls to, really. We don't really put that on defensive players, to be honest with you. So, like, when J.J. Watt make the Hall of Fame, nobody gonna be like, you know, he didn't really win. He didn't win a Super Bowl, so I don't really know if we can put... Fuck that. J.J. Watt is one of the greatest defensive players to ever play this game. With one of the greatest primes I have ever seen. So, Aaron Donald's smart. He understood. A Super Bowl for a defensive player that's as great as him and JJ. I keep wanting to call this man TJ. That's more of icing on the cake. That's more of a personal thing for them to say, I got to a Super Bowl and won it. But man, that shit don't hold nobody holding that against them when they make the Hall of Fame, bro. So when you look at Aaron Donald, 8-time all-team, first team all-pro, not second, not the first team all-pro 8 years in a row. He made the Pro Bowl every single year of his 10-year career. 3-time defensive player of the year. It's just, bro, surpassed the 100+ sack mark. To do what this man has done from the defensive tackle position, I think that's really what throw me off. Because I done seen a lot of players be great from positions that I think it's easier to have success from. Not in a sense it's easy, but to play at that position, it's easier to find success if you are great. To do it at the defensive tackle position is just insanity to me. You don't get defensive tackles built like Aaron Donald that can move like Aaron Donald, as strong as Aaron Donald, as smart as Aaron Donald. And that's, to me, one of the things that I think is why I think he is the greatest of all time. I don't remember the last time I saw a player not named Ray Lewis or Ed Reed or J.J. Watt which is convenient because those is 3 of the dudes on my Mount Rushmore defensive players. I can't remember other than the last time I had seen players that dominant, that smart, that great. Like, they mixed every single great aspect you could have. They had it all. And to me, that's Aaron Donald. It's nothing he can't do. I get irritated when I hear people say, oh, well, if it's a weakness in his game, it's stopping the run. No, it's not. You know how close I watched him after they said that to try to find the weakness in him stopping the run? Because I had already watched so much Aaron Donald to that point. So I'm like, maybe I'm missing something, because everybody trying, Warren Sapp, which I had to take that with a grain of salt because I know he a hater, because he feel like he the greatest defensive tackle all time. So he not going to agree with people saying Aaron Donald is. He going to, of course, try to pick apart Aaron Donald's game. But I also want to point out, Warren Sapp played with far greater defensive players on his team that helped him do what he did than what Aaron Donald done played with throughout his career. I'm just going to put that out there, and I'll say no more on it. But when you look at the film, Aaron Donald don't have no weakness. I was talking about Justin Metabike the other day because when you look at his film, he looked a lot like a young Aaron Donald. But I said he does nothing better than Aaron Donald. He don't stop the run better than Donald. He don't get to the quarterback better than Donald. He don't disrupt the play better than Donald. But the biggest thing that I said that if he could get closer to being, because you're not going to be Aaron Donald. Obviously, that's a generational talent. I'm not saying that a Justin Metabike need to go out there and beat Aaron Donald. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if he go out there and develop a pass rush go-to. So Aaron Donald got this thing where he chop, he jump, and he get right past the defender. If you watch any type of Aaron Donald film tape, I know you done seen it or heard him talk about it. Metabike right now don't really win with a dominant move that he can go to every single time. That's going to win more times than not. And I think it's so important when you a pass rusher playing at the defensive tackle position. See, you could survive like a J.J. Watt by you don't have to have one dominant move. You don't have to have a go-to. You can have multiple moves because you playing the outside. So you could get double teamed here and there. You could get chipped. But the possibility of being able to have 3 dudes just sink in on you as soon as the play start, like a Aaron Donald, because he played from the defensive tackle position, it's just tough to do. Plus, you don't find many great defensive tackles who can move all the way down the line like Aaron Donald started to eventually do when the Rams wanted to take advantage of weaker parts of offensive lines. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Like, you didn't have, not to mention, defensive tackles used to be like 300 plus pounds. Just no offense, but big old fat dudes in the middle, stopping the run. That's what the defensive tackle. I watched Alohi Nada for years, just be in that middle to stop the run. If he got 4 sacks in a season, we said that was a hell of a season for Alohi. Meanwhile, Aaron Donald not only stopping the run, but he racking up double-digit sacks while taking on double and triple teams all the time. Like, the man, they say he got double teamed on 40% of his drop on 40% of his snaps. And the fact that he has never been injury prone throughout his career. He, for the most part, is playing every game. I just think, man, when you look at a talent like this, bro, to be successful, and this would be different if he played in space. See, that's the thing I don't think some people think about sometimes. When you can play in space, bro, it's a lot of different things you could figure out how to do to beat a player because you got that space right there to operate. Aaron Donald don't get to play in space. He touching the offensive lineman as soon as they hike the ball. Not to mention, how many times have a defensive tackle been your main focus coming into damn near every game? The Rams have Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua. They had Odell. They have my boy Coop. The game plan for every opposing team is to stop Aaron Donald before anything else. Because if we don't, he will fuck this game. Russell Wilson should, if they ever do a Aaron Donald documentary, which I imagine they'll do one day, because players as great as Aaron Donald, you want to know why they was great. Like, you want to do all the ins and outs on getting him specials, like you want him on every talk show, every interview, because you want to find out what made this motherfucker so great, so much better than everybody else. I imagine Russell Wilson will be in that documentary. As much as he fucked Russell Wilson when Russ was in Seattle, I gotta hear Russell Wilson talk about this. I think he got more sacks against Russell Wilson than any quarterback he done played against. And that's not me even doing research. That's just me taking a wild guess from seeing how many times he was able to sack Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson loved running into an Aaron Donald sack. It was absolutely euphoric for him, I think, as the amount of times he liked getting lit the fuck up by Aaron Donald. It was really a special, like an ability to be able to run into that type of, that many sacks if you Russell Wilson. Also, Kyler Murray, who did post something after he retired. I know he ecstatic about the retirement because he used to get fucked up by Aaron Donald. Like, Aaron Donald destroyed this division. The only team that seemingly had ways to defend him, and I don't even know if it was necessarily ways to defend him as much as the way you ran offense made it so that you really didn't have to deal with him, was the 49ers. And that's because they got the ball out so quick because of how they run their offense. But if they run an offense, which is why it just bothers me that they have not gotten the most out of Kyler Murray over there in Arizona. Because on another team because Kyler Murray throw the ball more than good enough. The fact that you haven't gotten the most out of that arm, but you keep trying to get everything out of those other abilities is the problem for me. Because at the end of the day, Kyler Murray still got to be able to drop back and play quarterback to win in this league. And every time they make it so that a quarterback can survive off of doing everything but have to drop back and throw, bro, you only hurt your quarterback. Because then when a game presents itself where you have to do that, now you can't. So, but we're not here to talk about Kyler. We're here to talk about AD. But the greatest defensive player that I done ever seen with my own two eyes, like I said, no disrespect to any of those other players that people might think is great. I just think when you look at everything Aaron Donald combined to be as great as he was, and the fact you don't hear things about him, like I don't really tend to care too much about that off the field shit, but I mean, I guess it do matter at the end of the day when you as great as Aaron Donald, and the fact that he kept his nose clean, he kept his lifestyle, like, you never heard about Aaron Donald getting into no shit off the field. The one time you did, people immediately came to his defense and was like, nah, we got to hear the whole story because that don't sound like Aaron Donald. Come to find out, people was right. Aaron Donald was not in the wrong. So the man was great at being a father, a husband, a man that's like a leader in the community, and a football player. When you get a dude who do all those type of things, bro, man, you got to have more than a gold jacket waiting for him, bro. This man done won at life, bro. He done shown you how to be a great role model, a great black man at life, bro. So shout out to Aaron Donald, man. It's the reason why he the one who start off every show. I fucking love that man. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint, bro. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. I don't exactly know the next show. I don't know if it's going to be one of our team breakdowns or if it's going to be like news around the league and things of that nature, or a draft talk. I don't know yet. Okay. But it should be coming out soon. So with that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. You could be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. I fuck with you. I love you. Like, subscribe, share. Saint out.
I have fought the good fight, and I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Well, I fought a good fight. I have finished my football race. And after 18 years, it's time. God bless all of you, and God bless football.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.